So we're here now. We're ready to jump into that document. Under Documents, go ahead and click the 200515. Lovely, everyone's following. And then how I spoke about it's the function of this is to be able to track your reviewers and see where they're at in their review. At the top, whenever you start a review, just make sure to drop down and set your status to reviewing. Right, so now if I need to check, I can see who's reviewing, see who's waiting. Um, and if I'm a project manager, that's going to be extremely useful to see who's getting on with the review and who's kind of ducking me. All right, the Bluebeam interface. So I just want to quickly, I'll speed it up a bit here. Quickly go over like what you see in front of you, this Bluebeam interface. On the left here, we have our Studio tab, or our left panel, you may hear me refer to it as. Further to the left, these symbols over here denote other tabs. So when you hover over them, it'll show you what those tabs are. At the very top where you have the File, Edit, View, Document, this is the application bar, in case I have to mention it. And then directly under that, I'll call it the active toolbar. So when you're just idle in a session and you're not really selected on any markups or creating any markups, this will just show your studio information, number of pages, the document you're in, studio ID. And the reason I call it the active tab is because when you click on a markup, it will actively switch to the settings for that markup. So the color, the line weight, font, things like that. It isn't necessarily a set toolbar. On the right, we have our program default tools are pinned to the right side currently, but those can be pinned anywhere that you want, depending on what type of customization you want to make to your program. It's the same deal with these side tabs. If you want to move one of the tabs over to another side, you can do that. So I've just moved my Studio tab over to the right. And then to open and close these tabs, let me move it back. Oops. Oh dear. To open and close these tabs, you'll just hover over the border of it until it turns blue. And then you'll click that blue line to open or close tabs on the left or right side. At the bottom here, this is what we're going to spend most of Module 2 on. This is the markups list. Depending on your screen size, if you have like a larger resolution, you might be able to click this arrow here. That just extends your left tab all the way to the bottom. But for today, we're mostly going to keep this markups list closed. So you can go ahead and hover over that and click the blue line to close it. Okay. All right, no Q&As. The last thing about the interface here is along the bottom tab here. I call this the navigation bar. This will have your view options like fit page or fit width, similar to like Adobe Acrobat. You have your mouse options here, pan, select text, or zoom. When you click zoom, you can then use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. You have your page numbers here. You can scroll through to the right or left to move through pages, or you can enter pages manually to move that way. And then the last few arrows here are for previous views. So when you click this, It will bring you back to the last view that you had before you either switched pages or moved your zoom, and then you can use those to go back and forward to navigate. So typically, to get a full picture of a plan set, you're going to go to the first page down to that index of sheets. That'll have your page labels through the document. On the left side here, one of these really useful tabs is the page thumbnails, which is also in Adobe. Go ahead and click the thumbnails. And this will show you just a small view of each of the sheets in the plan set. So it'll show you the page number. It'll show you the page label if it has it, something like layout or grading plan, cover. And if you're having trouble seeing these, then down at the bottom, you'll be able to change the size of them. Dragging over to the right makes them a little bigger or a little bit smaller, depending on what you want to see. And again, your screen size. And the thumbnails are a great way to navigate through a document quickly, as you can just click on the pages to go back and forth instead of having to scroll or click these arrows here to navigate. The second tab we're going to cover is the tool chest tab. And if you were able to download that NJDOT profile, then when you click on that one, it looks like a toolbox. It'll come up looking like this, where you have your NJDOT Bluebeam user tool chest. And so tool chests are a group of frequently used tools in Bluebeam that should cover most of your markup needs. We designed this NJDOT toolbox to be an easy way for someone who is currently doing paper reviews to switch to doing the electronic reviews without having to kind of interpret and learn what each of these default tools on the right mean. So each of these comes in with a description. As you get more used to using these tools and maybe you want to condense it a bit, if you click on the gear box at the top of tool chests, you can switch the view to just the symbol. And this is kind of what your standard tools would look like. But I suggest kind of keeping it as detail so you know what your tools are actually doing and there's nothing left up for interpretation. As you scroll down here, you'll see plenty of other tools that Bluebeam provides in their default setting, which may be useful to you, maybe not. But the key thing is going to be that tool chests are customizable. So let's say you are frequently doing checklists or something in a PDF, and you really want to have an X available for whenever you need to. So I just place that X there. You can right click any markup, right click it and go to add to tool chest. Then you can add it to my tools. You see it just showed up there. Then no matter what document I'm in, anytime in the future, if I want to use my red X, I can go to my tools and save a bit of time just by clicking it and placing it. So tool chests, very customizable.